All right, we are live. 1 second. All right, welcome everybody to another awesome edition of Artist Spotlight, sponsored by File Hip Hop News. I am your host, SamAnt. Definitely appreciate y'all. This Friday evening, we are live. We got a dope interview with my guy, Adrain Junior. Did a artist review or did a reaction video on the bro Adrain Junior well, it was about 3 months ago now. God damn, about 3 months ago now. The Feeling featuring Jag and Jay Stone, dope video. I had a lot of good responses from that joint. And now we got the brother live, and I'm looking forward to hearing this story. Looking forward to you guys being introduced to the brother if you have not heard his music yet before. Create some new loyal listeners for the brother, and let's show him some love real quick. So before we get started, go ahead and throw those area codes in the chat. Let me know where you're watching. Let me know where you're listening. Let's make sure we show Adrain some love. You already know it's hail to the Commanders. 2 more days, boy. 2 more days. 2 more days. 2 more days. All right, man. We're going to bring our brother Adrain on because I see him in the green room patiently waiting. I don't want him to wait any longer. What's up, man? What's going on with you? How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. How about you, bro?
Man, I'm on cloud 9 right now. Cloud 9. How old are you, brother, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm actually about to turn 28 in next Friday.
Oh, happy birthday to you, brother. 28.
Yeah,
So in your
thank you.
28 years, you've known my team. Are you a football fan? Let me ask you that as well.
I'm not, all I know is if they make a touchdown, then they up.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad. And I don't have a football fan that could tear my team up too bad because I'm 41. So when I was younger, we was doing our thing. We was winning Super Bowls and doing our shit, and it was dope. But the last 35 years has been pretty bad around around
Right.
DC. So I'm happy, man. I'm ecstatic. My kids are happy, so I'm dope, man. But enough about me. This ain't about me. This is about you, brother. West Coast hip hop artist out of California. What part of California you out of, bro?
Man, I grew up in West LA, like mid city area. But I've been all around that Los Angeles. I was born in Inglewood, so from
Word.
there it was just moving around and stuff. And I ended up growing up in, the West LA mid city area. So that's the part I claim.
Word, dope. I spent a lot of time on the West Coast, particularly in California. I have family out in the Bay Area, and then I spent some time out in LA. I was in the Valley, and then I was in West Hollywood for a little bit in like 2011, 2012. Was
Oh.
pursuing acting and pursuing music, and LA whooped my ass.
Oh,
It will humble you if you haven't been out there and you never experienced the life and never went out there to pursue something and seen the other side of it. It will humble you quickly, man. So
man.
talk
Yeah,
talk about that. Talk about your humble beginnings, man.
man.
Being out there and kind of developing yourself as an artist.
Man, just I lived a pretty normal, steady life. Grew up both my parents in the household. Like I said, we moved around LA a lot when I was younger. And in my teen years is where I ended up in like West LA, mid city. So that's where I feel like I started adapting my growing up stage through that time. And it was just for me, it was regular. Like everything out here is what it is. Um, I know a lot of got to meet a lot of people, especially with the music and whatnot. And like the LA scene is. I would say it's been slept on for a couple years now, but I think it's coming back to where it should be.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm like really proud about being from LA and seeing that we are now taking the forefront again. So, yeah, I grew up around music my whole life. Really, uh, I didn't really start rapping until like honestly, I would say like third, fourth grade. I was writing down rhymes, even if they didn't make sense, but that was the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And from there on, I think it got really serious for me in like 2015, I would say, maybe 2014, 2015, where I started really taking it serious and putting real music together um, and putting it out, and people were liking it. And I was like, you know what, this what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. When because okay, you say you were about 28 years old, so you born like 96, 97?
97, yeah.
And I say, okay, so you started really getting into music probably in the 2000s, that era of music. But who were some of the people that kind of influenced you? Was you really into like your era, like the people during the 2000s, 2010s? Did you like people kind of before then? What was your taste in music growing up?
You know, honestly, I would say like I feel like I grew up in between like two different eras.
You did,
So I
yeah.
was able to experience like the people before me, the people coming up like now, and the people that's after me. I got a lot of inspirations. I would say, growing up, my dad would always play DJ Quick and Tupac. So I get a lot of my style from DJ Quick for
Yeah,
real. And that's just, because it's real, he's real West Coast oriented. And that's where I drew a lot of my style from. Um, and just being able to hear everyone else coming after it. I would say, 2008 Lil Wayne, that was a crazy era. That's what got me into like, oh no, nah, if we gonna get on this mic, it's gotta be dope.
yeah,
Of course, Kendrick, of course, Nipsey Hussle, J. Cole, all of them, they all like have some type of influence towards me. So it's a whole list that I could go down.
yeah. Was to get outside of hip hop real quick, I see a lot of the records that you have has a lot of R&B influence to it as well. And
Yeah.
I thought that was dope. I thought that your sound and how you rhyme incorporated with some of those old classic, and I'm talking classic like 70s, 80s. No, I'm talking like 2000, 2010s, but that's classic nowadays. But I hear a lot of that influence also in your music, man. So talk about your R&B palette. Did you always like R&B? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's crazy, like, when I'm making music, I have no idea how to, like, catch the R&B side of it or,
Right.
stuff like that, but I always when I'm, like, listening to music, I always catch myself, I was on my way here, I was listening to, Alicia Keys.
Hmm.
So, I really the thing for me is, like, if it's a great R&B song and the harmonization is perfect and like it just make you feel good, make you feel something. So like I do definitely listen to R&B. Um and I guess it shows up in the music too.
It could shows up whether it's subconscious or not, whether you mean for it to or not. Like I said, a couple of records that I heard, you got the West Coast. The West Coast influence is definitely in the music, and we're gonna play a couple of records, especially the single, if you don't mind,
Oh
in a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit. But
yeah, let's do it.
yeah, I definitely hear the R&B in there too, man, and I definitely wanted to give you a shout out for that because I'm an R&B head. I sing R&B, so anytime
Oh,
I can hear hip hop artists get to intertwine that R&B, I'm like, yeah, my guy's on to something. So
right. Oh,
definitely salute you for that. So talk like I see you in the studio right now. You're in the booth. I see the speakers, man. The vibes is always good in the studio. I love studios, man, and getting there and doing my thing and getting creative. What was your first introduction to the studio, and how did that go? Getting in a booth, hearing the engineer, you know what I mean? Kind of talk you through the process of recording, man. Talk about that.
yeah. So early, like in the early stages, I would record myself. I consider
Okay.
that like
Yeah.
like my first introduction of the studio. I had a little cheap $20 mic, little free program, and I was able to record on it. So going into that was just learning how to just get my voice in certain pockets and how I would sound on the mic. So after like doing that so many times and just releasing my own music off of my own strength, I believe we got connected with an engineer of some years ago, but he had his studio. It was like, you know what, let's take it to the next level and let's get in the lab. Um, and since then, I always fell in love with like being in the studio atmosphere.
Yeah.
Um, and just taking it that next step forward. Because now when you got the engineer and producer and stuff, it's like all I gotta focus on is just making sure the rap is tight.
Yeah.
And like engineer, it helps. I've been to a few different engineers, and for me at this stage, it's like I can tell when the engineer is really trying to produce you, as opposed to just like hitting record and like, all right, that sound cool.
Yeah.
So I've been like, work closely with there's an engineer out in LA. His name is Mixed by Crook. He definitely has helped me like get to the next level music wise and just recording quicker and like he'll be like, nah, you could do that over. Like I didn't believe that. So that's definitely helped a lot. And like now that's my approach when I'm recording music now. It's like, it's kind of nitpicky, but it's to just push that perfection really.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask. That was going to be my next question. How did you? What was? How did you? When did you realize like, okay, the engineer is actually important? It does take more than just pressing record and stop. They have to kind of bring something out of you that maybe you necessarily don't know or necessarily are cognitive of while you're in the booth and the
Mhm.
importance of that. So when did you realize that, okay, not only I've been recording myself, I've been doing my thing now, I've progressed to having producers and engineers, but now I need the right one. Like when did that time come and when did you know you had the right one?
Right. I would say around like honestly recently, probably around like 2021, maybe 2022. I got not a challenge, but I got a task to like, hey, if you can make 30 records and they all slap, like then you got something.
Yeah.
So my whole journey that year was just completing those 30 records. And when I locked in with Crook, we did all them 30 records, and each song it was just like, we could approach it this way or we could approach it that way, or how does this sound to you or how does that sound. So as I'm just knocking down the records, I start realizing like, okay, like the right engineer is going to get us the right product.
Yeah.
So aside from me spitting the right things or whatnot, the right engineer is always, it's a piece of the pie that you gotta have. Like it's gotta be there for like, and that's really all I could say on that. Like
Yeah.
it
It's
takes
important.
next level.
It's super important because, like you said, like now with the easy part, you go in the booth, you just let your talents do its work. I mean, you writing the rhymes, you're doing your thing, and you essentially you can get up out of there because now it's the engineer and the producer's job to make the record come to life, make sure
Yeah,
the
yeah,
instruments and the levels are clean, and that's the hard shit. That's the shit that's like you need advanced mathematics degrees to be able to do that
right.
for engineers, bro. I give them all the credit in the world because that's another language right there, and they kill it.
Man, I
So
said the same thing.
it's another. I've been in plenty of studios, done millions of hours of sessions on an R&B tip, and I tell you what, like even like stacking the vocals and doing it over and over again is nothing compared to having to go in and engineer that shit and then clean it up afterwards. So I get
Yeah,
him
right.
all the credit in the world, bro,
Exactly. Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Talk about your creative process when it comes to writing your rhymes. Are you the type of artist that you go into to the studio with the producer, y'all create the beat there and then you write there, or do you get the beat ahead of time? Do you write before it? Like talk about your creative process.
Yeah, like mainly how I started, I always like I gotta hear the beat and I gotta sit with it.
Yeah,
Cause for me it's like the instrumental is gonna talk to you, it's gonna tell you what to say.
word.
Um, and you just gotta just bring it out. So I've always like written down what I've rapped, and I got it. It may take a couple days. It might take a couple hours, and I'll finish the song. And just as long as it feels good to me, and it's like, all right, this instrumental matches with what I'm trying to say. Then that's when I'm like, okay, I can go and record. Lately, I've been having just trying to get more loose and like have more fun with it. So if it comes to a point where it's like they throw on a beat, I'm like, you know what, this sound good. I might just write right there or something like
Yeah,
that. And it's just, just to keep myself experimenting, I would say, and having fun with it. So it's been a lot of different processes. Went from writing on paper to writing on napkins, and now I'm writing in the phone or
yeah.
trying to freestyle it or stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like it's all like fun to me. It's a fun process.
Dope. I'm gonna get out of music for 1 second. I want to talk about you and just being a brother out there in Los Angeles, California. You're 28 years old. Said you was raised in a good household. I had both my parents around, and I'm blessed enough to still have both of my parents. They ain't always around, but
Yeah.
I got him. Thank God, I got him. But
Right, right, right.
just talk about your experience out here, man, because obviously Los Angeles is a very historical place when it comes to brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And obviously, we all have our story, man. So just give your overall perspective, if you can, about what we got going on out here in the world right now, and how you feel as a black man just in America right now, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah. This year it started off crazy.
Yeah,
Started
yeah,
off real
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
And I feel like, that it's been like that for the past 5 years. For me, growing up as a black man, especially in Los Angeles, Los Angeles, we got certain, here's and there's, do's and can't do's.
yeah, for sure.
So, growing up and navigating through that, like you learn a lot very quickly, I would say. Almost like you grow up pretty fast, which can like take somebody and it could steer them down the wrong path. And for me, it's like, growing up, I had my little run-ins and knocked my head on the wall a couple times.
Yeah,
I'm thankful I was able to learn from it, I would say. Learn from it and be able to, you know, teach teach younger black men that's growing up under me, teach them at least how to take the right way, or at least look at your choices and like whichever choice you make is going to lead you down whichever path it is. So it's just LA's very, we got a strong community.
yeah,
um, and I think that's what's forefront about LA and the West Coast is like, we don't play no games out here, but
I
if
know,
if
I
you
know,
need the help, like we're here for it. So, I think that's been instilled in me since I was younger, and now I'm at the age where I just want to be able to at least be able to preach that to the next generation coming up.
for sure. How did you feel, because you're old enough and you were cognitive enough to see both Nipsey unfortunately pass away in a very tragic and violent fashion, and then you've seen years later PNB Rock. Now Nipsey obviously was from the area, unfortunately passed away where he what I mean, set his foot and where he laid his ground at, and then PNB Rock being from the East Coast, unfortunately got caught slipping, and we
Yeah.
seen what happened. How did that affect you, if at all? How did that affect you, and how did that affect the pulse out in LA during those times, in particular for you as a hip hop artist?
Man, first and foremost, rest in peace to both of them,
Yes,
man.
sir,
Both
for sure,
both
for
great
sure.
artists. Nipsey Hussle is actually my favorite artist. I would say like, you know, for me, seeing Nipsey, I was listening to him since his first couple mixtapes, like Bullets Ain't Got No Name.
Hmm.
So seeing him go from that to Victory Lap, and then even take it further and like start making change in his community, and start inspiring people, that was something I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime, aside from like when Tupac was still alive. I didn't get to experience that.
Right.
So I feel like the equivalent of back then when Pac had his rise and his untimely fall, like it was kind of like that for me. um because it was kind of just like, why would somebody even decide to like take somebody away that's like that, and that's like really empowering the people,
Yeah.
which is like, a thing I would never understand. But it just shows like how much growth we still can do. um and same with P&B. The effect was like, at that point the effect was just like, man, it's happened again, like, almost becoming numb to it, which I was thinking about it and I'm like, that we shouldn't be numb to that type of stuff. Like,
Word. Word.
we shouldn't be trying to, like it's just like, oh, it's another day type thing. It ain't really that. Like, these are people with real lives, real families. They made some of themselves. For somebody to take it away over jealousy, or or just like, he got more than me or something, like, I think that's a bit crazy. Like that mindset has to change um, within LA. You know, it happens everywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
But, it's just like it's something that the community that we have to work together to change because we can't keep losing people like Nipsey Hussle and stuff like that. Like we got to keep our legends around.
yeah.
So
It's crazy because I think Tupac died in like 95, 96. I was 12, 13, 14 years old at the time. And you seen it and you felt it. Even when Biggie died, you seen it, you felt it, bro. But I'm not gonna lie to you. When Nipsey died, and I'll never forget it because my cousin and I were on our way to shoot the podcast, and we got the news, and we kind of linked up, and we was just quiet, like because although we never had met Nipsey, we were trying to gear up to interview him. We had some good discussions between our teams and his teams, and we seen in the future that could happen. And we also seen the moves he was making. We
mm,
seen him from where he started building up to where he was going. And I can only imagine where he'd be right now. It'd be absolutely amazing. But for him to fall the way he fell, it was a different feeling. It hit harder than Pac and Big to me, witnessing both of them as a teenager and now Nipsey as an adult. That shit hit different, man. And when we went out to LA, we went to the BET Awards. Probably around the time he passed away, we made sure we went out there and paid respects and gave condolences. But it was funny because we out in LA doing our thing. Like I told you, I spent some time out there in 11 and 12. And my cousin's like, yo, it seems so fake out here. I was like, it's fake as shit in LA until you go to the areas where the real motherfuckers live. Because when you in the city and you doing different things, it's a melting pot of different people from different areas trying to fake it till they make it pretty much. You
yeah,
got to go to the hoods. You got
yeah,
to go to the real spots if you want to feel the culture. So when we went out to Crenshaw and Slauson, and at the time Marathon was still out there, you could feel his soul in them streets, bro.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
went out there,
I was just about to say that
you
even
felt
after
it, bro.
he passed, like it still felt like he was here, like with the murals going up and everybody just on one page, even like the separate areas that don't necessarily get along,
Mm,
they came together. And that was just all testament to like his power and his spirit. His spirit is still here, still
yeah.
moving around. And it impacted everybody. It was a crazy feeling. I think it was like almost raining that day. It was just like,
Mm.
the energy was way different. But it, like I said, it just shows that he was a powerful human being as himself, and that's what people need for real. I say people need that.
Yeah. And it's a testament to how special the West Coast is and how special West Coast artists are. And I think that personally, even though, like I said, I was born and raised on the East Coast, born and raised in Jersey, I got a lot of tight and close lineages out in the West Coast area. So I'm always happy to see y'all winning. And right now, y'all winning. Y'all doing y'all thing. West
Man,
Coast sound is back. It's back better than ever. Y'all out here doing y'all thing. I know we've been having a long discussion. First, it was East Coast, then the South took over and went and did their thing. And now it look like the West got something to say about that, man.
yeah.
They got something to say about that. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's dope. So just talk about the resurgence of West Coast hip hop. What's the temperature like out there with the music? Are y'all getting in the booth and just hitting it harder? Because y'all know y'all got there's bars that are being set now that
Oh
are
yeah,
just a little bit higher and higher than they have been in the last couple of years. What's the vibe like out there?
man. It's you know what? I feel like we ain't even got the gotten to the meat of it yet. Like it's
Yeah,
just starting. So it's exciting. Like it's really exciting. Like I was telling my team the other day, like like it kind of perfectly lined up with like us doing what we're gonna do this year with how the music scene has shifted back to the West Coast. And like we said, like I'm heavily West Coast influenced, like so I'm proud to say the West Coast is back. And I feel like all the artists are just on one page, which we also haven't seen that in a long time. Artists they're behind the scenes, they're getting in the booth with each other, and the records are coming out slowly but surely, or at a steady pace.
right.
But everybody's gearing up to we gonna take the baton and run with it. So West Coast is for sure. We've been on top before, but I feel like this is gonna be a different way we're gonna see it. Like it ain't gonna be no downfalls again. It ain't gonna be I don't think it's like a East versus West Coast thing.
Nah,
It's
not at all.
like,
Not at all.
it's just more so like, hey, the West is still here and we still
Right.
doing what we do.
Right.
It's either take it or leave it at this point, and that's how the West Coast has been. So I'm glad it's now in the forefront again. Like, hey, like y'all could take it, y'all could leave it. Regardless, we
Yeah.
gonna be on top.
Well, you said something. You said a couple things real dope that I want to touch on. One, you said you see a lot of the artists getting together and getting in the booth together and kind of doing a thing as West Coast artists, and I think that's so dope to hear because obviously the competition in hip hop, it's always competition in hip hop, and unfortunately, you see a lot of motherfuckers wanting to shine other ones. You want to outshine the other one, you want to outdo the
Yeah,
other one, and you don't want to build together, and that's what makes a whole area or a whole region succeed when we can just kind of do it together and have that unity. And
yeah,
it kind of sounds like that's what's going on out there. Like, talk about that.
yeah, that's for sure. That's definitely what's going on. You know, shout out to Kendrick Lamar, like, from his pop out show, he brought pretty much the whole West Coast on stage, and I think that's what kicked it off. Like, you know what? This is what we on. Like, it's either get with it or get lost. This is what we on. So now coming off of that, then Kendrick drops his recent album and he puts all the West Coast artists on there. And
Mhm.
mind you, like I said, with LA, it's like certain areas don't really mesh together like that. So
Yeah,
for artists to be able to be from different areas and but be on the same records, that's already groundbreaking because it's like now we breaking this mold that's been on us for some time now.
yeah,
Uh, and I think the artists, including myself, we are all just like we're gonna just take I don't want to call it like a little tidal wave, but we gonna hop on board, we gonna hop on the boat and just follow this way because it's gonna take all of us to the next level, really. I would say that.
word. Now, another thing you brought up that I thought was dope. You talked about your team, and I'm a little upset at myself that I didn't bring up your team in the beginning of this video. Cause shout out to your motherfucking team, dog. Andrea is a beast. I love Andrea so much. I never had the pleasure of speaking to her like on the phone or FaceTime, but the emails, how professional she is, how on time she is, how personable she is, dog. You got a good one in her, and you got a good team around you, man. So talk about the importance of building a good team. Was it always like that? How did you find the right people to put yourself in these positions to kind of get you to where you at right now? And talk about how you built your team and the importance of that.
Yeah, man. Our my team, like we've been built from the ground up, like
Word.
since day one. So like, before I had the team, it was just me. And then how we move just as people is like, our what we look at is like, are you in it for the moment or for some type of big break, or are you genuinely in it to like let's see it work, let's make it happen. And luckily enough, like I've been able to just be aligned with people in my life that really want to see us make something happen, genuinely,
Yeah,
without any money involved or nothing, stuff like that. Um, so it's just been like, as long as it's always been genuine and like people really, clock in, come to work on time and do what they need to do, it's like we've been able to build with that and build on top of that. And like, yeah, my whole thing is like, look, we we're gonna move with diligently, with respect,
yeah.
and we gonna do what we came to do. And fortunately, my team has been able to do that and help me out a lot. So you know, I'm not just a one man band.
No, and it's important, man. And if I can give you any little bit of advice, keep good people around you, man. Keep good energy around you. If things happen and people come and go, but always, if you got to replace anybody, replace them with good people. And right now, from what I've seen from the outside looking in, from the interactions I've had with people on your team, you got some good people around you, bro. So keep going. It's going to work in your favor, man. And I definitely think so. So keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Thank you, thank you, thank
No
you.
doubt. Let's talk about the single, man. Let's talk about the single. Get with me. You know what I mean? Definitely West Coast influenced. know what I'm saying? I got it loaded up on title right now. We're gonna play it in a little bit. Man, talk about the record, talk about the influence, the process of recording it. I mean, we've been talking about producers, engineers, the recording process. Give us all of that when it comes to that record. Get with me.
Oh man, that record's amazing. We were really just trying to figure out what we gonna do next. Like what's next music wise. So we just went to the lab. And it's crazy because that song just started with just a bass line, like a loop, like a loop of a bass line.
Word.
Um, and once I heard that bass line, I was like, "That's it right there. Like, let's work with that." And I put the lyrics to it. Um, After that was more so like building around it, I would say. Um, so we just we build like the sounds around it and like maybe changed a couple words or whatnot. And we just kept adding and adding until it was like, all right, this is the best it's gonna feel. Like it was all a feeling thing. Like, you know, whatever sounded good, whatever felt good, whatever like got it going. Um, that's what we went with. And it took on like a life of its own.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, that record, what you're hearing now, it did not sound like that when we first started. But it has some like really good energy, and to me, it felt fresh.
Yeah.
Um, so we just put that together, and we were like, we gonna run with this, and we have shirts for it that's gonna be coming out soon. Um, we just did a bunch of promo for it, and it like people love the song, like people
Jeez.
actually love it, and I was like, wow, really? We was kind of just experimenting with this one.
You slide on that motherfucker, man. You slide on that jump. Let me ask you this real quick before we get into the song. I want to play the record, but you made me think of something else I wanted to ask you. When you in the studio, right? You got your producer, your engineer. How are you receptive to constructive criticism? If they hear a bar, like, okay, I know sometimes you got to give energy and all that's dope, and people can be receptive to that. But how are you when it comes to like, I think you could write a better bar than that, or I think we could get something a little more creative than that to kind of bring out something extra. How are you receptive to that type of criticism and
Oh man,
feedback?
I'm very open to it.
Word, word.
I'm very like, if that's one thing, it's like, if we gonna really do this, then we gotta do it right. So it's like, I personally, first and foremost, it's like, hip hop hip hop has got to be strong. And so if you leave in the booth and you didn't put nothing that's tight on the record, like it ain't hip hop.
Nope.
But like I said, I'm open to it because first it helps me get better. Um, and it also like just opens the conversation for like finding new things or trying new things, or you don't want like yes men around you. Like
Word.
you don't want people to just be like, yeah, that's hard, and then like the song ain't really that hard.
Shit garbage, and you out here looking
Yeah,
crazy.
like I think we had enough of that. So,
Word.
with me, I'm big on quality of the music. So that's one thing that has to happen, like in the studio. Like even if might bump heads with each other a couple times, but we always come to a conclusion. Like, all right, now this is what we talking about. So
Word.
yeah, I love it. I don't. If it ain't good, tell me.
Especially if you have good people around you trust their opinion, they trust that they care about you and your project. It's a
Yeah.
little easier to kind of take criticism for those people than the yes men that just going, they think the shit whack, but they telling you it's dope. Like that
Yeah.
ain't doing nothing good. Let's get to this music, man. Let's get to this record real quick. Hold on, let me make
Yeah.
sure my stuff is together. Bring this joint up real quick. Now I'm on Title right now for the good people who have Title. Is your music also on Apple and Spotify, all the platforms, bro?
Yes, sir. It's going Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube, anywhere you want to find it. We got it there for you.
Word. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse. All right, we're gonna rock to the record. Get with me right now by our bro Adrain Junior. Go check him out on Apple, Spotify, Tidal, all online music outlets, YouTube. You heard the brother. Let's get to work, man.
Hey yo, hey yo. If you want to get a taste of the flavor, I'ma need everybody to get in line. One person at a time, please. West side all the time. We gonna break it down like this. heard the coast ain't got no style, so let me give it. Beating up the block with a funky little rhythm. Had to bring it back, but it never went missing. Flavor for your ears, real clear when you listen. It's different. Waking up feeling like a million. Fly till I die, west side to the children. Couldn't come close to the lifestyle I'm living. Couldn't even figure out my way, so I get it. Anyhow, anyway, know that I'ma flip it. 40 ounce flow, pull it up, then I sip it. Pulling up like the outlaws in the building. We gon' give it up, throw it up, now let's get it. Boy, all my real players getting busy now too. Step in the name of the feeling history. They just wanna see how I did it this strong. All my fly folks getting with me. Boy, all my real players getting busy now too. Step in the name of the feeling history. They just wanna see how I did it this strong. All my fly folks getting with me. Gotta say what's up when you see me in the city. The way I move around might leave them a
Nigga,
bit
that was
dizzy.
cold, nigga.
Got the type of style that will make them do a shimmy. I be all around, so I know they about to feel me. I be down in my bag, I be up to no good. I don't break half and come second to none. When you come to the coast, you can't be no bum, cause this is where we gets down and we like to have fun. So we pumping it up, they be throwing it up. I be knowing what's up, I don't worry too much. Do the same little plans from around the way. And the only thing we do is get fly and get paid. All my real players getting busy now too. Step in the name of the feeling history. They just wanna see how I did it this show. All my fly folks getting with me. All my real players getting busy now too. Step in the name of the feeling history. They just wanna see how I did it this show. All my fly folks getting with me. Now throw it up. Throw it up. Throw it up. Throw it up. All the time. What's up? What's up?
That's the bro Adrain Junior. Get with me. Available on Tidal, Apple, Spotify, all music outlets, man. The shit was dope. The change was crazy. The vibes was dope. It definitely gives me a quick Dre type vibe. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you this, bro, because you're a 28-year-old grown man, but obviously you got a little bit of our era, my era, and then the newer era that you were influenced by. But a lot of the music that I've heard and the music that we played, it ain't no bullshit, bro. You ain't talking about killing nobody. You ain't out here trying to stun on nobody. Good vibes, chilling with some beautiful women, having a good goddamn time, bro. And that's the vibe I get from all of your music, not just that joint, which I think is dope as hell, but all of your music, man. So talk about that. Was that like a mission of yours to kind of not do what the status quo is and kind of just give that homage to the West Coast and also at the same time make sure the message is a little more positive?
Yeah. For me, like I say, it starts with the feeling of it, and me as a person, I like to feel good all the time, and
Word.
just chill out, have no drama around or nothing. So that's part of why it translates like that in the music, but also like you said, like I think we've had enough of like people rapping about the drugs they do and how many people they done killed and all that. Like, all right, man. Like, I don't know if you actually doing this stuff or this is just all you have to live for. But I look at things like, there's so much more to express and so much more to give people aside from that. So my goal was always like, if I can make you feel good through this record, then I'm doing my job. And it's also easy to, like, just put something real out there. Like,
Yeah.
People that know me in person, like, my music sound like how I act. And that's literally like what it is. Like, ain't nothing too much to it. I would say, like, it's just like, I always grew up on, like, you gotta be really, really about what you rapping about. So
Right.
that's how I keep that, like, I keep that close to me to be able to, push out music that just has a good feeling and, like, is most authentic to me. Because if it feels like the slightest bit of authentic, I wouldn't even put it out.
Yeah.
My team would be like, "Yo, man, it sounds good. You should do it." I'm like, "Nah, it ain't me." Like, so that's really my approach on that.
Hold on. Somebody asked, is it on my guy? Pastor JT, what's going on with you, brother? Shout out to Dallas. I don't know if you Dallas or Fort Worth. Either way, shout out to Texas. That's my bro. He's asking, is it only on title? He's looking for it on Spotify. You on Spotify too, right, bro?
Yeah, it's on Spotify.
Yeah.
Adrian Junior.
Yep. Type it Adrian Junior on Spotify, my bro. It's on there. All right, man. We about to get up out of here, man. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate your time. See you in the studio, so you probably ready to get to work, man. But before we get up out of here, man, again, I appreciate you. I appreciate your professionalism. I appreciate your good vibes, man. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to interview independent artists and hear their story. And it just never ceases to amaze me how many dope artists out here with good stories and that are genuine good people, man. And you are definitely one of them, man. So I definitely appreciate you, bro. From the bottom, I appreciate that too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Man,
very much.
thank
And
you. Thank you.
yeah, man, before we get up out of here, let the people know where they can find you. Obviously, we show where they can find your music, man. If you got social media handles,
Yeah,
website,
yeah.
whatever you got, bro, let them know.
Yeah, everybody could follow me on Instagram, the Adrian Junior. We're gonna have a lot of updates coming up very soon, like around the corner. And that's where you're gonna see the whole lifestyle. Like, follow me there. Like I said, a lot's coming up, so stay tuned.
Word. Adrian Junior on this edition of Viral Hip Hop News Artist Spotlight. Brother, you got a fan in me, man. Please stay in touch. Anything I can do on my side to help further your career or help even promote whatever I got, brother. Let me know, and I got you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.
Nah, anytime, bro. You have a good one.
All right, you too.
Peace out. Hey, stick behind the scene before real quick. I'm gonna say a couple things before I get out of here, but I want to holler at you real quick.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, man. Dope edition of Artist Spotlight here on Viral Hip Hop News. Show some love to the bro Adrian Jr. Go follow him. Go check out his music. Go do your thing. You already know. I ain't even gonna get into it right now because this is my brother's interview, and I ain't gonna mess it up too much. But I'm ready. I'll probably go sleep with my cleats on tonight. I'm ready. But listen, anyway, that's a whole nother story for another day. If you want to promote yourself here on Viral Hip Hop News, if you're an artist, if you're an entrepreneur, you ain't just have to promote your music. If you have a brand, if you have a book, whatever you may do, whatever your talent is, I would like to hear your story here on Artist Spotlight. Email me, dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. Again, dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. I seen my bro Kenny. I didn't want to be rude. I wanted to make sure we got the interview through. But you were asking how to get on the platform. dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. Please shoot me an email. Let's talk business. You know what I'm saying? Let's do our thing. Let's get you on here so we can hear your story as well. But that's my time. I'm about to get up out of here. It's Friday. I ain't got no job. I ain't got shit to do. But I'm about to relax, man. Enjoy y'all. Love each and every one of y'all. Y'all be safe. Until next time. Peace out.